Bonsoir tout le monde.
Bonsoir.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Selection Nationale, the national selection where we discuss everything about the Haitian national team. I'm your host, Derek Etienne.
And I'm Daryl Etienne, and we're excited just to come through the airwaves, just to talk to you about everything, all things national team for Haiti. That's what we're here for. We're talking to U15s, U17s, U20s, U23s, and the senior teams, men and women. We'll be just discussing everything that we can, the ins and outs of the national teams. We're excited.
We love the national team. We've been a part of this national team for years now. Just a little bit about us. We were born and raised in United States, but our family comes from Léogâne and living in Jacmel. And so the Haitian national team has been something that we've been watching ever since we were born. As a matter of fact, the year we were born was the year that the national team made it to its first World Cup.
And that's when Emmanuel Sanon the Great scored against Italy, right? That was one of the greatest moments, and we were born that year, so I'm excited.
So I know we just told you how old we are, but we've been involved in just watching the national team. Our father has put the national team in our hearts, and we've been carrying the banner ever since. Me and my brother, we played 10 years professionally in the United States, and then in 2000 is when we started playing for the Haitian national team. And since then, even our kids started playing for the national team.
I mean, your son, Derek Etienne Jr., he's been, since he was 18, he's been with the senior team. He's actually went through and played with the U17s as well, U20s, U23s. So he went through the ranks and proved himself. And now he's been with the senior team since he's been 18 years old. That's
of course, Danielle Etienne has been on the women's side. Same thing, U15, U17, U20. She was with the team that qualified for the first U20 World Cup for Haiti. And then with the women's team that qualified for its first FIFA Women's World Cup. And so our kids are doing it, and there's more.
I mean, you have Omri Etienne. He did the 15s. He did the 17s, went to the Youth World Cup in Brazil for the 17s, and I think that was 2019, right? And then it's great.
And so Daryl Etienne Jr. is coming. So many more Etienne footballers are coming to represent the national team, Les Grenadiers. So we're excited. And this Haitian national team just runs through our veins. And so it's a privilege and an honor for us to just discuss the national team, to comment on the national team, and maybe even sometimes critique the national team so that we can get better. We are supporters of the national team, and we want you to support the team as well. So please do us a favor, if you can, subscribe to this channel. I know there are so many other sports networks that are representing the national team. We follow Haiti Tempo, Total Mixed Radio. We follow Haiti Football, Haiti, Info Sport. There's so many Haitian news outlets that deals with the national team, and it's mostly Creole speaking. And so our target, our audience are for those that may not speak Creole. They may not speak Creole that well. My Creole is not bad, but it could be a whole lot better. But we want to target those who want to talk about Haitian football, but may not necessarily speak Creole. And I believe with all of these news outlets, we'll all be able to get support to rally behind the national team.
One thing about us is that when we follow the national team, we see that the passion of the players have, just they understand that they represent a country, and when we play or when the national team plays, we're either going to put a smile on the country's face or a frown on their face, and our goal is always to put a smile on their face and show them that we love them and we want to represent you and wear the jersey on our backs and having this crest on our chest and letting everyone know that we're here just to make things a little bit better for the Haitian people.
And with that comes a lot of pressure as well, because we know Haitian fans, we expect the national team to win every game. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. There's an expectation of the national team to win. And so we want to get behind all of these national teams and support them and watch them take it to the next level. This year, 2024, is an exciting year for the national team.
I mean, there's so many things going on with the different age groups. I mean, right now we're currently going into the U17 national team. They're going for the World Cup qualifiers, and I can't wait to start talking about that. But what else we got going on this year?
We have not only the U17 World Cup qualifiers, we also have the U20 Men's World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
And so that's coming in February as well.
Yeah.
So we're excited to talk about that.
We have the women doing the Gold Cup, right? That's coming up in February. Actually, this month, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to see Danielle and Aurelia and all of those girls out there just to represent, the country well in their first ever Gold Cup. So,
and then this summer, the men's national team, the senior team, is now qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This has to be our time. This has to be our moment. And so FIFA has expanded qualification for 48 teams to enter into the World Cup. And USA, Mexico, and Canada already have an automatic entry into the tournament. So there's no reason why. There's 5 spaces that are left.
Wow.
5 spaces that are left. 3 that can qualify through the competition and 2 that can go through playoffs. So there's no reason why we should not make it, but you never know. We have to make sure we have the right team, the right players, the right coach, and everyone supporting the national team.
Exciting things going on this year for the Haitian national teams, and we're going to talk about it. Every detail. We're going to be in your face, giving you all the gory details about it. All right. I'm excited.
So that's U17, U20, women in the Gold Cup, men in World Cup qualifiers coming in 2024, and we want to see you there. So we're going to talk about it. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back to Selection Nacional, the national selection, where we're talking about the Haitian national teams. And tonight we're focusing on the U17 women's national team while they are in preparations to qualify for the 2024 Women's World Cup.
And these girls are exciting to watch. I remember the current senior team now, when they were around 15, 17s, and they were building and getting into that. Who's the coach? Shep
Bukowski was coaching them.
That regime, when those players started, and seeing the excitement that they had when they were 15 and 17 and 20, I mean, you're seeing the fruit of that now with our current senior team. But when I watch this group play, this group here that we have coming up at the pike, all I can say is the future of Haitian football is bright. That's all I can say.
The future is bright. That's good to hear. Of course, there are a lot of challenges with trying to get the national teams together. And these are the challenges that we face that sometimes hurt us from performing and having the best players there. But we will overcome those challenges and we will compete and do well. The team is currently in Mexico. They're in Mexico. This is where the World Cup qualifiers are going to happen, in Mexico. And let's talk a little bit about the team. Let's look at the team that we have that's coached by Marc Auger. All right. And so there are 21 players that are currently with the national team. And we have 3 goalkeepers: Kimberly Prince, Kimberly Cadet, and Dafka Mark. These are the 3 goalkeepers who are going to be representing the national team. Now, I know Kimberly Cadet might be the number 1. So we're still waiting to see who's going to be the starting goalkeeper who starts for Haiti for the qualifiers. But Cadet was the first one in goal in the first preseason or the pre-game that a qualification match, preparation match. She started for them, where we did lose the game 4-2. But it's going to be interesting to see who's in the goal. How important is a goalkeeper for when we're playing in these tournaments?
Extremely important. I mean, games are lost and won on set pieces. So whether that's corner kicks, whether that's free kicks, penalty kicks, or even goalkeeper errors. Okay, so it's a lot of pressure on these particular goalkeepers in these levels of competitions. But, again, we're going to really see what we have up the pipe. We have 3 goalkeepers who are all qualified. They've had good training. they're prepared for this, and we just got to see which one of them are going to be the main one, and it's going to carry us through.
Just like every national team, you're going to have multiple goalkeepers, and you have to fight and compete to see who's going to be the number one. And so, and it's important for the team to have confidence in a goalkeeper, someone who can make saves, someone who can command the team from the back. And so we're excited to see which goalkeeper is going to take.
And it's important too. Whoever that the coach chooses, they have to be someone that's comfortable playing out of the back. Okay, if we're trying to be a country in our game plan throughout the different age groups, throughout the different, whether it's the women's or the men's team, if you notice, we have a similar style where Haiti loves to play out of the back. Haiti loves to play attractive, beautiful possession football, and then we isolate 1v1s. And so now we have the tricky players that can wow and dazzle the crowd, but yet be effective to get in behind and serve balls. Then we have athletic and strong, skillful strikers. So if that's the profile throughout the men and women, and you can see this happening. So, but for the goalkeepers, you're the first ones to start with us. So we need you to be able to play out of the back and be able to use your feet and pick players out. And it's going to be interesting to see if coach is going to allow this, or we're going to sit back and just let the teams just come at us. We're going to talk about that a little later. But
if we're going to do that, we have to have the strong defense. And the defenders that we have, Julissa Sabina Pierre, we have Ivna Murat, Esther Valius, Asli Laguerre, Nessa Francois, Roselenka Metellus, and Jolanji Gay. So we have strong defenders that are playing. They're playing in for teams that are playing in Haiti. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the defenders are lining up and what approach are we going to take when trying to defend against Costa Rica.
Yeah, the closer we get, sometimes in situations like this, teams or coaches are focused on different formations, whether it's a 3-5-2, 4-3-3, or 4-4-2. So it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Auger is going to come up with, with this back line, because we have several defenders, and each of them could actually start. So it's going to be interesting to see what formation he's going to go with and which players are going to be the ones that he's going to trust.
What I'm looking forward is to see who runs the midfield. I want to see, because every Haitian team, has a strong engine who runs and works hard. And then we have creative technical players that can create for the team. And so it's going to be interesting to see from Pierline Nazon, Semitus, Pierre, Sendat, and Nicolas, who's all going to be in the midfield. So 3 of these 4 players play for AS Tigres in Haiti. So there should be some chemistry there, or, they may be used to playing with each other. But we want to see who's going to be the ball winner, the general, and then who's going to be the number 10, the playmaker for the team.
Yeah, when you think of the number 10 of Haitian football, the first thing comes into your mind is Melcy Dumonet. Everybody's saying,
oh, yeah.
So you have big shoes to fill. But, I remember when Dumonet was around this age, when she was 14, playing with the 17s and the 20s. And, so it's going to be interesting to see who's, using her as the model and willing to go forward and just go higher.
And also the first number 10 for Haiti women's football, Narilia Mondesir, who's currently wearing the number 10 jersey. Coventina plays in the position number 10, but Narilia wears the number 10 jersey. And that's important. Players that wear that number 10 jersey, there's an expectation for you to deliver for the team. So it's going to be interesting to see who not only wears the jersey, but who's in the position and who's going to lead the team to create for the entire team. All right. And lastly, up front, we got to have goal scorers. We need people who's going to score goals. And so we have Senulus, Loginia Etienne, Annabelle Fleurot, Dominique Desert, and Ella Marie Etienne. 2 Etiennes are in the lineup that we're excited to see these players play.
And some of you have already seen what Logina has already brought to the table. She's played in the second match and scored one of the 2 goals from the second match that we had, the preliminary or the preparation match. So we know that she is a finisher. I'm not just being biased because she's an Etienne, however, but she is really one player to watch, someone that we're going to be depending on to go forth. But we also have others that are coming in. We have Ella Marie Etienne, who has not played yet, recently just received her citizenship, the passport, and she's ready to go. This player can go. This player can go.
And this is very valuable for us because she is of Haitian American Panamanian.
Yeah.
So she could have represented 3 different countries, either
Mhm.
Haiti, Panama, or
And
USA.
when I spoke with the mom, I saw the mother in a different location, and the mother said that Panama wanted her.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, really wants her to play for them. So
She wanted to play for her, but Ella wants to play for Haiti.
Haiti.
She knows that she is a Grenadier, so she wants to play for Haiti. And so we're excited to see her
Mhm.
get into the attack and score some goals. We have some strong players up front,
Yeah.
and I believe we're going to be able to score some goals.
And specifically, there's a young lady, Dominique Desert. She is an absolute baller. She's come from New Jersey. Very good, strong player. Good on the ball. A little reminiscent of Adumane, but I don't want to give it away. They have to see her. They have to see her. All right.
Yeah.
But we're excited. This team looks like they're hungry and they're ready to go. But now it's the coach's job to bring it all together. We have the players. Now we have to see, do we have what formation are we playing? What type of, are we going to sit back and let the teams come at us because it's Costa Rica, or are we going to attack them and we're going to rush for them? I don't know what the coach is
I
going
don't
to
know.
bring. What are
You know,
thinking?
we didn't see the game. The game wasn't televised where they played the 2 friendly matches in Mexico. So we don't know what formation they played with. And so we'll try to get that information. But we do know Haiti typically plays a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. That's usually the kind of formations that we play. So hopefully they will follow the same formations that the older national teams play. But at the end of the day, it's about fighting. It's about working hard. It's about defending hard and scoring goals.
Yeah. And that we're going to have to do. This Costa Rican side, you know, they're known for their speed of play. They're known for their counterattacks. And so it's going to be interesting to see how we can weather that storm, but yet penetrate to them and put a little pressure on them. So,
Yeah. Do we have any information about the Costa Rican team? Do we know, is there info about them? Because we know Costa Rica has great teams on every level.
Yeah.
The senior team, the Haiti beat the senior team 1-0 in the qualifiers or in the Gold Cup qualifiers, but then lost the second match 2-1. So this is a battle between Costa Rica and Haiti on the senior level. What can we expect with the U17s?
Yeah, I think with the U17s from the sources we spoke with, they're saying that the 17s are a team that we have to worry about counterattack wise. All right, they're a team that they're not afraid to play the long ball. They're not afraid to relieve pressure and send balls forward. So our back line have to be on their toes. Our back line has to be either pressed high and our goalies playing off the line, or our back line has to be, a little bit more aware and agile to be able to deal with the long balls and not be overcome by the counterattack. They say that the attack for their front line is very good. In the midfield, they do have a link player that can go forth. So, but that's all I have at this moment. But I do feel as we get a little bit closer, we'll probably get a little bit more details about the Costa Rican side. But just know that everyone is hungry. The Costa Rican team, they're here in the CONCACAF as well with Haiti, and we're all trying to see who is going to get that next spot in behind USA, Mexico, and Canada. So they're fighting.
That's interesting because in our group is with Haiti, Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Mexico. And so we have to get through Mexico if we're going to go through. The top 2 teams are going to automatically advance, and then everyone else is still going to have to qualify. So we have to finish at least second in order to make it to the next rounds. And so I'm confident that we're going to give Mexico a game. But worst case scenario, we could finish second in that group.
Right.
But you never know. At any given day, it's about who steps on the field and ready to play.
Yeah, and if you've watched Haitian football and the national team play, there's always other factors that somehow there's different things that infiltrate the game, be it weather, be it certain calls being made, calls not being made. So there's a lot of other things that do take place that can affect the complexion of this game.
Yeah.
But I believe that, if the girls just fight, the coach keeps them motivated, and we go in with a game plan and stick to our game plan, I think Haiti should come out on top, at least in the top 2.
What do you think that game plan should be? I mean, I know Coach Auger, we have confidence in him that he's going to do what's necessary, hopefully give the right plan.
Yeah.
But what would you do if you were coaching the team?
Coach Auger would have to really take this week seriously. And really, hopefully he's taking advantage of the players that were there to really try to find which is the strongest, who are the strongest 11 or the strongest 16 players. Where are they best suited? Where should they be on the field? I think that's going to be the difficult part is, you have the players that were in Haiti. You have players that have coming from abroad and coming together. Some were dealing with passport issues. So are we going to have the best 11 on the field? That's going to be the challenge. That's the first thing. Secondly, is the coach is going to have to now find those relationships on the field. So once you establish who the 11 are, but then can they work together? That's the next thing. Can they work together? It's a new group. They're young, they're immature. So are they able to work together and come with a common goal, or are they marketing themselves and trying to get to the next level? That would be my thing, would be focused on getting the unity and the chemistry together on the team.
Well, the challenge with that is there's not a lot of time,
right?
Now this team has been training together in Croix-des-Bouquets in Haiti. Most of the players have been training and playing in Haiti. Again, I'm not, but the players that are coming from the States, are they going to be able to get into the lineup right away? We don't know. And so this is going to be the challenge, because you don't have a lot of time to create that chemistry. You don't have a lot of time to create those relationships on the field. And so this is the difference in some of the challenges that we have in preparing for these major tournaments. Is a lot of these other teams are playing in tournaments. They're playing in preparation tournaments and having camps that's going to help them come together, and so that they can evaluate players. And unfortunately, with so much that's going on in Haiti, we really haven't had the opportunity to have these players to properly prepare. But I still believe, that the players that we have, that there is a fight that's on the inside of them, that if we just put the pieces together, I believe that something is going to click and we're going to be successful.
Okay, so if you're coaching then, so you asked me, I told you the first focus for me is who are the best and can I get them to work together? So that would be my focus. What's your lineup? What is your formation? What would you do if you were the coach?
If it was me, I would go with a 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1. I would have 4 in the back. But of course, the outside backs could join into the attack.
Right.
I'll have 2 defensive center mids just to see, what we're going to be facing against, because you mentioned there's a strong counterattack that Costa Rica has.
Right.
So we want to make sure we have a strong defensive presence essentially. But I'm confident in our attacking 4.
Yeah.
Our attacking 4 plus one of the fullbacks. I'm confident that they'll be able to create some chances and possibly score some goals.
Yeah.
So for me, I would start with a 4-2-3-1, but be very aggressive when we have the ball.
Yeah, that's what
we have to be aggressive, because I think majority of the teams in this region fear the attack of Haiti on every level.
Yeah.
The majority of the teams, they fear our strength, our speed, our size, and our technical ability. We can score goals. So they fear us. So when we sit back, that kind of lets teams off the hook and allows them to now have an easy road and they catch us. But if we can attack them, even though we have the 4-2-3-1, if we can attack them and even send one of those center midfielders forward to join in the attack. But when we're defensively, we make sure we have those 2 sitting in front of the back.
Yeah, oftentimes some coaches, they'll go with a confrontation line, maybe at the top of the circle or in between the circle and the D, that they'll say, we'll wait till the team comes there and we press. I think if Haiti just goes in, if coach encourages them to just go straight in and press their center backs, put them on their heels, allow them to be with the ball, but put pressure on them to see how good their center backs are.
Yeah.
Guaranteed they will start going with the long ball early. Okay, but if we press them, I think that we're going to be able to pick up those loose balls, because our back line will be able to handle anything aerial.
Yeah.
And so once we win that, the key for me in this game is going to be how strong is our midfield with the second balls. Because if Costa Rica is seeing that we're pressing, if our front line, if you get Lorginha Etienne and she's pressing, and if you get Ella Marie Etienne and Dominique Desert, if they're starting to press with the speed and the strength that they have and the smarts and the understanding that they have of angling their press, that team is going to be sending long balls. And so if we can handle the second ball, because our back line will deal with the first, but our midfield has to be aware, they have to be agile, and they have to be equipped to handle the second ball and then be able to build from there.
And that's important, especially if you're going to play against El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Mexico. They have the type of players in the midfield that if they win the second ball, they can easily pick us apart in a counterattack. So if we can win the first ball and win the second ball, I don't think teams are going to be able to stop our attack.
I totally agree. Well, for me, it's just more about we have to really see what the coach is going to do. The coach is experienced. He has experience in this realm and been coaching girls for a while. He's been with this group, and so we're going to put our trust in the coach's hand. I think that every coach has the right to have a vision, has the right to have a game plan, and we're the people who are supposed to follow and support that game plan. So we just gave our ideas of what we would do, but he could take it or not. But we know we believe in him and we support Coach Jose, and we want him to just give his best. But hopefully he's thinking about these things as he gets ready to fight for the game tomorrow. And what time is the game?
The game tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, is at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. Usually the U17 games are televised. So it would either be on Peacock or it'll be on Prime. So we'll find out and we will update it on our social media to let you know where the game will be televised. And so we're excited about the first match is Haiti versus Costa Rica. And so we want them to start off well. The first game is important. Why is the first game, you think, so much more important?
It's always important. You set the precedent. You want to try to put fear in the whole group, right? So we have all these teams. We have Mexico, El Salvador coming as well. You want to kind of put fear in them and take the steam out. It also, when you do well in the first game, it kind of relieves the pressure that you may have.
Yeah.
If you give up the game and you lose the first game, now you have added pressure on top of, hey, I got to get out of this group. I got to do better. So I think the main thing is for them, if they can take and get the 3 points in this first game, it'll be great momentum. It will put fear in everyone else, and it'll be great for the girls as they go for game 2.
Game 2 against El Salvador will be played on February the 3rd, and the final game against Mexico will be played on February the 5th. So that's 1 day of rest in between. So not only do we have to give it our best against Costa Rica, but then we have to recover quickly so that we can go against El Salvador. This is going to be an exciting tournament, exciting time. And so we don't know how we're going to fare in this. We're just believing and we're trusting and getting behind the national team. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Haiti versus Costa Rica, and we're believing Grenadier à l'assaut. We're ready to take over and take control. All right, we'll see you